What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great hump day. That's right, it is Wednesday. A little bit different because it is a Monday Night Football game, but behind enemy lines here, getting ready for the Week 11 opponent of the Philadelphia Eagles. That, of course, being the Kansas City Chiefs, and a rematch we have all been waiting for. So I cannot wait. We'll be breaking things down throughout the week. Tomorrow will be the initial injury report for both teams. I'm sure some roster moves coming for the Eagles, so I'll have you up to date with all of that. And then, of course, on Friday, we will have Fan Friday. Saturday, you will get the game status report with the updated depth charts, all the stuff you need to know. Practice squad elevations will be on Monday. So we'll talk about all that stuff. But right now, let's get to know the Eagles' opponent. We're going behind enemy lines with the Kansas City Chiefs. Appreciate you all taking the time. Thank you for bearing with me as I get this room finally together. Figure out, well, I got to get it all before I get this damn lighting up, but I just can't. Blue man today, but I appreciate you all. Thank you for hitting the like button, subscribing, commenting, all those things you're doing. But let's rock and roll, baby. Hope you enjoyed that bye week. Let's start things off, and let's take a gander at what is different about this Kansas City Chiefs team since we saw them last. We'll take a gander at the moves they have made since this offseason and throughout the season. So you can see their draft, obviously a decent one. We talked about some of these pieces here last couple of days, but look, man, Rashee Rice, you got Felix Anudike-Uzomah. You've got some interesting pieces here. And look, you know, you lost a couple, not a big deal. They had two of the worst tackles, which makes it so weird we couldn't get any sacks in that Super Bowl. Two of the worst in giving up pressure. Almost as if they wet the field. Now, you see they also lost Juju Smith-Schuster, the trash talk, and loser goes to the Patriots, amounts to absolutely nothing. Then they also lost Kalen Saunders and Juan Thornhill. Their additions, Donovan Smith and Jawan Taylor, now they're tackles. You got Richie James, who's on IR. Omenihu, they traded from the Niners, and Drew Tranquill, now they're starting middle linebacker with Mike Edwards as some safety depth. So they've got some new pieces here, a couple of different pieces you're going to see as we go through this and take a look at not only their roster, but the depth chart, IR, all that stuff you need to know about this team. But let's take a look at how they are doing so far this season, and not the dominant Chiefs you are used to seeing the past couple of years. They are definitely beatable here. 7-2, sitting atop their division in front of the Raiders, Chargers, Broncos. No surprise there. And, of course, no surprise that they are atop the AFC as a whole. So we're going to see the number one AFC team versus the number one team in the NFC and NFL, Philadelphia Eagles. But you can see Chiefs number one and all the rest behind them there. And man, it's going to be fun to see who actually makes the playoffs in both the AFC and NFC. Some wild races going on here, but you can see this team atop the AFC, regardless of struggles or weird losses. Look, we lost to the Jets. Anything can happen in the NFL. So, look, you got to be prepared, and we know we could have demolished them in the Super Bowl if it were a dry field. So, hey, man, as long as it's not water world for this game, I think the Chiefs are in for a reckoning here. We're going to whoop that ass. So let's take a look at how the Chiefs have done so far this year. 13th in points, 8th in total yardage, 7th in passing, 19th in rushing, 2nd in giving up sacks, only 1.3 per game. But they are, I think they're giving up the 5th most pressures per game. So take these numbers with a grain of salt, as I always say. They are giving up pressure. So I would love to see this pass rush get to Patrick Mahomes without a wet field. I could see that happening aplenty. Now, interceptions, 1.1 per game, tied for 28th, not good there. Fumbles lost, not good there either. Tied for 30th at 1.9, only one team worse than them in turnovers. So not good for them on offense, definitely looking to clean those things up, and they're hopeful to do so after the bye. But the Eagles looking to start getting some turnovers, so this could be a team to do that. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, oh my, they are definitely vastly improved here. Points per game, tied for 2nd with 15.9, 4th in total yardage, 5th against the pass, 17th against the run. So you know what I'm going to say. Drew, Liz, are you out there? Run the damn ball. Please and thank you. Now you can see sacks per game. They're tied for second in front of the Eagles. Eagles are 3.3, tied for fourth. These guys 3.4, getting pressure here. So we're going to have to protect Jalen Hurts as always. But interceptions, you can see not getting a lot of those. They are getting some fumble recoveries. So that puts them middle of the pack at getting turnovers. So now you see how they're doing it. Now let's take a look at who is doing it. And we're going to start it off by taking a look at the coaching staff. Then we'll go position by position. And at each position, you'll see if it's at quarterback, running back, whatever, you'll see underneath anyone who's on the practice squad at that position or IR. And then at the end, you'll get a full list of the practice squad, the reserves, and the depth chart. So let's start it off with the coaching staff here. And you can see Big Red, baby. Grew up loving this dude, one of my favorites of all time. Him beating us in the Super Bowl just really, I guess if anyone's going to do it right, but I don't give a damn. I still want to beat him so badly. I'll never forget his first damn game back. Oh, my God. I was at that game. We retired McNabb's jersey. I got to meet Dawkins in the parking lot because I was lost. That was hilarious, but the game wasn't because they beat the living hell out of us. So he continues to do that, and obviously the last time we saw him, I've got revenge on my mind. But they've got Matt Nagy there, Steve Spagnuolo, another familiar face, and then Dave Taub, the special teams coordinator. Hell, they've got Todd Pinkston there as their running backs coach. Ken Fajol is there as their linebackers coach. So a lot of familiar faces there on that coaching staff. But my God, we have a good coaching staff too. So I don't care. But this is a great staff, man. And, a lot of people were surprised last year. They didn't know who Andy Reid was. Hey, this is a good staff. They didn't think that the Eagles should have lost to a Hall of Fame coach and a Hall of Fame quarterback. But to me, that was not the worst Eagles team I've ever seen. I actually thought it was pretty good that they made the Super Bowl, but I've seen the slander about them and how Mahomes and Reid aren't good. Dude, I really don't think people watch football because they are two of the best ever. So, look, yeah, we lost by a couple points because the field was wet. The refs were helping. So, as long as the Eagles bring their A game, we can beat these guys. I don't care if they're Hall of Famers or not, man. Just dry field. That's all I ask. Dry field. Now, if there is a dry field, this guy is in for a rough time, and they knew that in the Super Bowl, hence getting that thing nice and slopped up. Two of the worst tackles. They got rid of them because they were so bad. But they somehow find a way to allow the Mahomes to stay safe in that Super Bowl, which was their plan all along. So you can see Mahomes here, then Gabbard as the backup, and then Chris Olodokun as their practice squad guy. So only two guys on the roster there. We know Mahomes is that team. If he goes, oh, sweet baby Jesus. So you don't want to have to turn to Blaine Gabbert, but yeah, stay healthy there. Now at running back, Isaiah Pacheco. This kid, man, I have him in fantasy, and I'll be real with you. They just have so many different weapons, and with Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback, he doesn't get a lot of the limelight. But I'm telling you, this kid, he is a stud. Don't let him get going. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can run tough. He's been taking passing work from Jerick McKinnon. Edwards-Helaire was out last game. They had LaMichael Pirine elevated from the practice squad. So we'll see what they do here, but you got to watch out for Pacheco. Now, the Eagles are the #1 rushing defense. So therefore, you got to watch out for those passes to the backside of the backfield. Mahomes will eat you alive doing that stuff. So, oh, Lord, #1 rush defense. Let's shut them down. Now, wide receiver, Rashee Rice, man, another one I have in fantasy. He's a stud. I picked him up a few weeks ago before the fire started there. And this kid, clearly the way Mahomes liked him, wanted him in the draft, you knew there was a relationship there. This kid, he just continues to get better. And they're calling for a breakout this week. Obviously, the Eagles secondary has had some issues, but Bradley Roby healthy. Justin Evans coming back. We're getting healthy there. So hopeful to shut these guys down, but you've got some very random pieces. You never know which guy could go off, whether it's Moore, Valdez-Scantling, Watson, Tony, and maybe Hardman. But they've got some pieces there. Rashee Rice, the one to watch out for, though. And look, you've got Arias, Cota, Powell, and Washington on the practice squad. Then on IR, Richie James suspended, Justin Ross. But watch out for Rashee Rice. That's definitely going to be one of the top matchups looking out for these guys. Now, the top pass catcher you got to look out for, we all know, Travis Kelce. And, yeah, they've got Gray and Bell behind him, Bushman, Prince on the practice squad, Fortson on IR, but none of that matters because Travis Kelce. And we all know that's who we have to shut down. And did an okay job. Second half kind of kicked our ass in that Super Bowl. But, look, this is a hard man to cover. So whatever you got to do to figure things out, and it doesn't necessarily, we talked about Sidney Brown. We talked about some of these guys like Justin Evans that I think are good matchups, as that third safety rather than having some of these corners. And with the injuries we have, I think we could get those safeties finally playing where they need to, as I've been talking about, well, since the offseason. So I think this would be a perfect matchup. I'm excited to see, and that's going to be one of the top matchups, obviously, come this Saturday. Now, on the offensive line, we talked about how terrible their tackles were last year, so they changed them. Now they've got Donovan Smith and Jawan Taylor inside the same, Thuney, Smith, and Humphrey. Then you see the depth there on the right, Morris, Caliendo, Allegretti, and Niang. Then on the practice squad, Godric, Kennard, Ryder, and hey, a familiar face down there on IR, Prince Tega Winogo. So there is their offensive line. Now let's jump on to the defensive side of the ball. We're going to start in the trenches here in the middle. The monster himself, Chris Jones and company. We've got Noddy, Wharton, Dickerson, Farrell, and then on the practice squad, Mike Pinnell. No relation to Landon there, but Chris Jones, Noddy. Ooh, boy, those are some big boys, and they mean business. So the Eagles' offensive line knows what they need to do. We're going to see if Cam Jurgens comes back this week or if Tyler Steen continues to play right guard, but should be intriguing to see. They're going to have a tough matchup on their hands right there. Now, at linebacker, edge rusher, and I have these listed every week in case you've never seen this show, interior D lineman, the edge rushers, that way, because other teams have them listed as different things. These are defensive ends in this system of Steve Spagnuolo. So Karlaftis, Dana, Omenahue, quite a rotation there, a little bit of Anadike, Izomo. Then you've got Herring and Thompson, Truman, Jones on the practice squad. But our tackles, Twin Towers, going to be a great matchup here. So they've got a nice rotation going here. We have definitely had our struggles, so hope to clean things up there. Now, at linebacker, we talked about it was a great addition for them. Drew Tranquil, also still have Willie Gay, Leo Chenal there, Jack Cochran, and Cam Jones. Unfortunately, Nick Bolton on IR. But look, Drew Tranquil been stepping it up, Willie Gay and Chenal with him being out. So next man up, man, no excuses. But Nick Bolton, what a stud he is and a bright future. But that is a big loss for them in this game and any other that he misses. Now at cornerback, look, our wide receiver is the best in the game. But look, you've got some slept-on pieces. I think L'Jarius Sneed is very underrated. Trent McDuffie, a very good nickel corner. Jalen Watson has been starting over Joshua Williams. They, for some reason, have Joshua Williams listed as a starter, but Watson's been seeing the reps over him, so I'm going to give you Watson. But you've got Nick Jones there as well on the practice squad, Boye Doe and Taylor. So, look, a decent set of cornerbacks here. And then the safeties, you've got Justin Reed, who was a great addition for them last year. And then Brian Cook, who I think this kid is very underrated, a stud safety. Mike Edwards, a great addition, but Cook's doing so well that Edwards isn't even starting. Then you've got rookie Chamari Connor there. On the practice squad, Deion Bush, and on IR, Nazeeh Johnson. Now to finish it up, the specialists here at kicker, Harrison Butker, punter, Tommy Townsend, long snapper, James Winchester. And then, I'm sorry, I don't know why that was so funny to me. Winchester, it's such a weird name. But McCole Hardman, who they traded for, brought him back. Now the return specialist there for them. So that is their entire roster by position. Now I'm going to show you all that information that I just gave you in a full list. So let's take a gander at the full list of the practice squad, the reserves, and the depth chart. And I will keep this updated throughout the week so you know exactly what not only the Eagles look like for game day, but their opponent. And I do that every week for you guys, just in case you're new to the channel. But let's take a look now at, you saw all these guys at the bottom, but here is the full list here. And there are 17 players. Jason Godric, part of the international player program where he is exempt. So you guys remember Matt Leo for the Eagles had that exemption. So therefore they are allowed an extra player there, does not count against the practice squad. So you can see here, they've got 5 guys on defense and they've got 12 on the offensive side of the ball. If you were following along at the bottom, you're probably like, what the hell? So only a few guys on defense there, but yeah, if they need to elevate anyone, they did Perine last week because of Edwards-Helaire being out. I will keep you up to date. They've done it with Bush. So anything that happens, I will have you covered. Now, let's take a look at the reserves. These are the guys that you will not see on the depth chart. Nick Bolton, Jody Fortson, Richie James, Nazeeh Johnson, Prince Tega Wanogho, and Justin Ross. Sorry, Richie James should be yellow. I try to color code these. Anyone in yellow new to the roster this season, so Richie should be yellow there. But let's take a look now at this offense. And as I just mentioned, anyone in yellow is new to the roster this season. Now, Mecole Hardman, I'm not going to count because, well, he kind of was there and then he wasn't. Okay, yeah. So now you can see here what's going on. Sky Moore, Valdes-Scantling, Rice, Watson, Hardman, they use them all. So, look, I put them in order of who's getting the most reps. You can see, as I had mentioned, the new left and right tackle, different from when we faced them last season. But for the most part, we know what we got to look out for here. Mahomes, Kelsey. But again, do not sleep on Rashee Rice or Isaiah Pacheco. And I'll be breaking all that stuff, giving you the individual stats, everything you need to know about this game throughout the week here. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, you can see not much changed. You've got Drue Tranquill in there. And then you've got some younger pieces now starting who weren't last year. And you had seen, Juan Thornhill being gone at safety, certain pieces that are gone now. But look, when you're a Super Bowl caliber team, you really don't have to change much, especially when you win it. So not much change there on the defensive side of the ball. But that defense really stepping it up. Those young pieces really stepping things up. Now, the special teams unit we just talked about, anything were to happen to Hardman, you do have some guys capable of returning here. Tony and Watson, Pacheco, McKinnon. So whatever way you need to go, they've got the talent to do so. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I've got for you this evening. That was Behind Enemy Lines with the Philadelphia Eagles Week 11 opponent, the Kansas City Chiefs. I would love to hear your thoughts down below, how you're feeling about this game, your top matchups. Mine are coming, all that stuff I'm going to break down for you. But if you have any thoughts, you have any questions, anything you want to talk about, leave it down below. It doesn't have to be about birds. It could be about anything. You can always reach out to me. Truly appreciate each and every one of you taking the time. Whether you're watching this today, tomorrow, next day, whenever it is, I really cannot thank you all enough. Hope you're all having yourselves a great week, ready to get back some Eagles football. I know we have to wait till Monday, but going to do my best to get you by. Tomorrow, I'll be dropping that initial injury report. You'll have guys going on IR. You'll have guys coming off of IR. So stay tuned. I'll have you up to date with all of that stuff. But anything else happens, I will hop on. But until next time, I'm Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You all have yourselves a great rest of your night. Stay safe out there. And as always, go Birds!